Brodes Media.
Daryl Morey spoke to the media. The initial reaction from the fan base was, wow, that was a disaster. I didn't see it that way. I didn't see some masterpiece either. But what could have possibly been said that would make you walk out of that press conference in disbelief in greatness? That was never a possibility. So knowing that, for what it's worth, it was a press conference to describe how the president of basketball operations failed, how this team failed, how the biggest player no-showed, James Harden too, how all of that happened, plus what do you see in the future with a lot of major decisions coming your way. There was always going to be this style of response. This is how it was going to go listening to Daryl Morey. It went as expected. I didn't think it was awful. I didn't think he was brutal. My only knock, and I'm nitpicking here, there's a part of me that feels this is unfair. And I'm letting you know prior to describing what I would have liked differently. When he was asked about himself and his job and just in totality how he viewed the season, he said the right things, but I don't know if I love the tone with it. Now, he's probably just as hurt as we are. He didn't anticipate when he was up 3-2 and kicked Boston's ass in Game 5. He probably wasn't in the mindset of, I'm going to be back on the podium again in just a short while. Probably thought he was going to the Eastern Conference Finals. Instead, here we go again. But I wish that there was more bite. More accountability. And he did say it starts with him. But I'm saying more along the lines of the tone. Like, this wasn't good enough. This was not good enough. Our goal is to win a championship. And we didn't see the Eastern Conference Finals. I'm going to do everything to put this franchise in the best position possible to succeed. We need players to continue their growth. Tyrese Maxey we view as a top player in this league as he progresses, and we know his skill set is super high. I can't wait to see his offseason and for him to get back to work and to improve and to have this experience in the playoffs. And I'm okay with Daryl Morey staying as president of basketball ops. I don't have a problem with that. Some people do, though. We put out a Twitter poll on The Fanatic. 1,220 votes. Do you think the Sixers owners made the right decision keeping Daryl Morey? 51% said yes. 49% said no. Think about that. Normally these polls are somewhere around 70 to 80 to 20 to 30. Yes, I think the Sixers owners made the right decision keeping Morey. This is the first time the seat is hotter. This is the first time I'm even mentioning the temperature of the chair he's sitting in. Now it's there. But I know that what he did with the roster he was handed, not many NBA executives can do. Al Horford, those contracts were a disaster. Daryl Morey has a Tobias Harris contract problem. The two major questions is, what do you do with James Harden and what do you do with Tobias Harris? And for me, you have to find a way to get two players for Tobias. I'm not giving James Harden 4 years. I'm not committing to that. I'd run a two-man game with Maxey at that point. I don't know if that's good enough, and quite frankly, I don't think it would be good enough. You take a step downwards, or you'd have to play a totally different style, but I can't commit to another terrible contract. Not the final year of Tobias's am I going through hell with redoing that all over again. Because while it might hurt you in the right now, it will abuse you. That's why the Celtics are deeper. That's why all these other teams are deeper. That's why they can't find legitimate success off their bench. Because you're not maximizing your assets properly. It's not much different from the Howie Roseman thing that we all discussed during the draft. You don't draft a running back with your number 10 overall pick. You don't. It's a dumb way to use your assets. Prior to Daryl Morey getting here, they fumbled the bag prioritizing their cap space. Both sides of the Tobias talk is true. He does a lot of things well that doesn't get credit. But you can't have a max contract going to your fourth option that gets asked to do different roles basically every other month. You build around max contract guys. Joel Embiid, Kevin Durant, LeBron James. That's the level of skill that you need to receive it. But I would think a basketball mind that sees the obvious, sees a Harden that can't be taking that much money from you. Just can't. Even with leading the league in assists. I'm sorry. The wild inconsistency with that price tag to it isn't worth it. If you got a possibility of a 45-point scorer and he's making a veteran minimum, then by all means, different. But a huge chunk and a huge bulk. For years, I think at some point, Joel Embiid would demand a trade because, well, what message does that send to Joel? If Daryl Morey wants a new head coach and the best player in the locker room was shocked by it, so be it. Maybe that gives Joel Embiid the smack in the face that, well, I like this guy. This guy helped me out tremendously. I've been playing my best basketball with him on the sidelines. And he got fired because I sucked? Maybe there's motivation. Look in the mirror. Because you failed. You came up small for the whole city. And that's harsh, but it's real. And I want him to know how harsh it is, because that's what should help the drive.